Awesome, awesome. Okay, it looks like everybody's trickling in, and we're at 8:32 like usual. Make sure everybody gets into the waiting room before we kick it off. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. I'm sure, like usual, we're going to go ahead and have some folks straggle in, and between Shane and I'm sure we can keep admitting them. Good morning, everybody. Happy
Friday
for 2020 COVID-19. Hopefully everybody had a really good Thanksgiving despite all the craziness. I know on my end I did. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday, so even though I didn't watch much football, it was still a great holiday. How about you, bud?
Mine was great. It was awesome. Did the turkey on the smoker, and my wife hates that I take that part away from her, but you know what? It is what it is. Now that there's no going back. I'm sorry. So yeah, great holiday. I did watch football, like we were just talking. I did watch some of that, even though it was horrible football, but I still watched it because I'm a junkie, kind of.
Good for you. Good for you. We have Emma with us this week once again, so it's nice to have her with us, and she's going to continue to help us get better at our social media. This has been a banner year for me from a social media standpoint. I've learned so much, and most of that I can attribute to Emma. So thank you. And Emma's going to continue to be a mainstay here for as long as she wants to come on in and help us. So let's kick this thing off. I'm only going to take a couple minutes to go over rates, but I love to keep you guys up to speed on rates. And there hasn't been much change there. Let's pop on over to the shared screen. All right, you guys see my my screen here?
Yes.
Awesome. So we're at the home page of theloangeeks.com. And if you click on the mortgage rates here or down here at today's rates, either one of those, that's going to take you to our rate page here. Looks just like this. And let's go over them real quick. There hasn't been a lot of movement. We've been kind of dipping back and forth down here at the lows. On the 15-year conventional, right now we're sitting right at 2.375. The bond market's been getting hit pretty solid. And so we could see that start to tick back up. And that's with 0 points on the 15-year conventional. The 30-year fixed conventionals sitting just under 3 at a full eighth there, below 3% at 2.875. Again, that is at par as well. And as folks who have been regulars here throughout the summer, basically since COVID hit, you've known that the government have had a lot of premium pricing built into them as we've been going through the whole forbearance issue and all of that. Well, as you can see now, the government loans have pretty much caught back up with conventionals, and all of that premium pricing is basically stripped out. Not entirely, because typically the government loans, the rate is slightly lower than the conventional traditionally. And that's because of the extra fees and stuff like that that are involved in those with the upfront funding fee on FHA and the veteran funding fee on the VA. But I mean, they're sitting at par at 2.875. So that is a far cry from where they were. And then last but not least, on the jumbos, again, you guys saw those get way out of whack when COVID first hit, and then they came back down, and they're sitting right at 3% flat, again at par. So from a rate perspective, the market's basically saying they're not afraid of anything dramatic that's going to be coming along and have any risk built in there. So hang on one second here. I see a couple people sitting in the waiting room. Let me let them in. And so that's where we're at on rates. We're down here at these lows again, and I think we're going to be maybe not always on the lows, but I think we're going to be dragging down here at the bottom of these rates probably throughout all of 2021. I don't see any major catalyst that is potentially going to cause rates to go up. And there's it would take really some major economic movement to make them go down, simply because there's, even if the Fed goes to negative rates, there's certain things that are built into the sausage with mortgage rates as far as fixed costs to do a mortgage, that they can't get too much. Every time I say that though, right, they prove me wrong. I was gonna say they can't get too much lower, but the reality is, how much lower can they go when we're sitting sub 3%, right? So, and that's a good segue to one other thing I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on as we head into the new year. And that is, we just had the new loan limits for 2021 announced this week. And while I'm sure you may have already been made aware of them, I wanted to cover them here today just to make sure you guys know where we're at heading into 2021. On the conventional loan limits, those are the loan limits that determine whether it's jumbo or not. If it's less than the conventional limit, it's a conventional loan, which means it's going to go to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, and it's going to be underwritten to those more relaxed guidelines. And so in 2020, we took a really nice increase up to 510, 400. Well, look where we're going for 2021, folks. 548, 250, almost 550. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, we were stuck at 417 for like 7 years after the recession hit, because prices took such a big hit and we just stayed there. And then just about 4 years ago, we finally started seeing some movement, and now we're sitting at almost 550. And if you move down to the FHA there, you can see we were sitting at 331,760, which was awesome. We'd been in the mid to low twos for so long. Now we're going all the way up to 356, 362. I can never remember the tail end on the FHA because they like to use funky numbers, non-round numbers there, but 356,000 on the FHA. So yeah, prices have been going up. It looks like prices are going to continue to go up. And that is a great topic of discussion every week, but there's no insight as far as a shortage of inventory goes, which means prices may and should continue to go up in 2021. But if rates are low and the loan limits have increased, they're kind of encouraging prices to continue to climb, or at least they're creating an environment with which prices can continue to climb. So that's what we've got in store for us, I think, in 2021 is some low rates and significantly higher limits.
It's interesting that you talk about interest rates, because I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, last time we were on, but I talked to, I talked to so many different people, and one loan officer friend of mine at another company was talking about he had heard rates could get as low as into the ones by next summer, which why not? I mean, honestly. But then I keep hearing pressure up too, and I'm like, if they go up, they're not going to go up a whole heck of a lot. They can't. I mean, I don't think they can anyway. I mean, that would kill everything if they really go up, at all. But it's interesting. I know you don't have a crystal ball, and no one does. It's like, okay, we just put our pants on and come to work, right? I mean, and the big
yeah. You asked me that loaded question like a couple of weeks ago about where I think rates are going to go, or something like that. Like every client does when we get ready to lock rates. Yeah, exactly. That's about as accurate as anything else, right? Thanks, Paulette. The magic 8-ball. Yeah.
I'm a little confused. I've heard a couple of lender types suggesting that there's a bottom at which you can't make money, and as a result, they won't be originated if they go too low. That sounds like voodoo to me. Are they just confusing me, or what's up?
No, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, Ted, is there's a certain amount of fixed costs associated with doing a mortgage, right? And we're kind of ticking below that now. And let me equate it to an adjustable rate mortgage, because that's the easiest way to kind of see it. If anybody's familiar with adjustable rate mortgages or home equity lines of credit and how those are priced out, They're priced out basically based on what Wall Street Journal Prime is, which is the index, and then a margin. And the margin that's added to that, that's the cut that the bank gets to keep for making the loan and servicing the loan, lending the money out and taking the risk, right? And banks, they love to make money, right? It's the greatest Ponzi scheme on the planet is let us hold your money and lend it out at 10 times what you let us hold, and they get to make interest on it. It's an awesome business model. If you can get into it, do it. That margin tends to be 3% or more, between 3 and 4%. And they don't like to lend the money out and take the risk at less than 3% typically. So we're at that point right now, right? Where basically if the Fed's at 0 and rates are at 3, roughly on a 30-year fix, amortized over 30 years, the banks are going to now be the ones taking it. The Feds can't take the hit anymore. So their margins are going to start getting thinner and thinner. Well, you start turning lights off, you start letting people go. The quality of the service that you're providing your clients is going down. You got to take it somewhere, right? Because they're used to operating at a certain margin. By the way, they're shareholders, if they're a publicly traded company, shareholders aren't going to be real happy. Maybe they pay a dividend. Maybe the dividends go away. I mean, the ramifications are unforeseen because we haven't been here before. So, Shane says he was talking to a guy and says, yeah, maybe rates can get down into the ones. Maybe they can. Maybe they will. But I think the forces that are currently in play, we're kind of at a natural floor in the business where it'd be really hard to get lower without some really difficult decisions being made in the industry where they go, okay, we're going to work for less. Does that make sense?
We're kind of in a perfect storm right now with those low interest rates and low inventory and everything. It's like, holy cow, something's got to give, right? I mean, eventually.
It will, right? Just like the levees in New Orleans, unfortunately, when you can only hold the sea back so long. And I'm a firm believer, economics, it's a natural phenomenon. It is not man created. Supply and demand and all those things, that's a natural phenomenon in nature. And you can only goof around with it for so long and adjust rates so long and do that stuff before something's going to come along and slap you around and show you who's boss. That's what the last recession was. And they tend to get bigger too. So I'm a little concerned when the next one comes. They put their finger in the dike on this whole COVID thing so quickly. I don't think that was the one, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
just friendly from me to you. This has nothing to do with me wearing a mortgage hat, but keep some cash around. Always keep some cash around. I'm a big proponent of cash, and I lend money out for a living, but I'm a big
yeah. Put some money in your mattress, stick some away.
Yes, sir. Mattress money is not a bad thing.
No, probably not. I know it's an interesting time, and I don't know. I'm sure you're reading the COVID numbers too, like I am, and it's amazing to see it spiking again in Arizona. And I just read this morning we had the highest number yesterday ever, and I'm like, that's impressive.
Can I interject in that? Because
you can.
I talking about that yesterday, and I hadn't thought about this before, but it made perfect sense. People who are getting tested for COVID, before they can leave their self-quarantine and especially go back on the job to work, they have to test again and test negative, right? Before they can go back. At least that's what I'm hearing. So they can't just quarantine for 7 days and not have any symptoms. They have to test negative before they can go back. So what if they kind of rush that and they test positive again? What's that second test count as? I'm hearing that counts as a new COVID positive test, even though it's the same person.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Whether, again, I'm not in the know, but that's what I've heard too.
Yeah. So the test numbers don't really mean a lot to me. I want to see you know, the fatality rate.
Yeah, I know the hospitals are getting jammed again and whatever.
Are
I
they?
know all that's happening, so it's interesting. It's interesting, but okay. So hey, I've got a couple things to show you guys. I know Emma's dying to see this too. So couple quick things before before Thanksgiving. Those that were on knew that I was opting for the pie cake and for Thanksgiving. And this is it. I ordered this,
Do you
and
have a cross-section picture?
it was interesting. I saw it on Facebook, and I went to the site goldbelly.com, where they've got foods from all over the United States. I mean, specialties from all over the place, and then monster creations like this Frankenstein cake right here. It kind of went like this. So when here, I don't know if you can, I might have to stop sharing. If let me see if I can redo this. Let me see if I can share the other. It's not letting me do it. There it is. Hang on.
You're
Okay.
here with us today, so we can deduce that you survived the pie caking.
Can you see the sliced pie cake in here?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay. So the pie caking was a pecan pie down here, pumpkin, spice cake, apple pie filling, and frosted with cinnamon buttercream frosting. That's what it was. So it was frozen. It came to me. It wasn't as huge as I thought it was going to be. It was heavy because it's almost a 6-pound cake, pie, whatever it is. It's the Frankenstein of, you know, it was one of those things I couldn't get out. Once I saw it, I was in love with it. I'm like, I need to have you. You're a pretty little thing, you know. And I will say that it was $100. It cost me $100 to get this cake delivered. Free shipping though, which was what a deal. It was. I finished this thing just a couple nights ago, actually, because we left after Thanksgiving, we went up north and hung out up there. We didn't take it with us. The pecan part was really good. It was a very good pie. Pumpkin was okay. The spice cake was moist. The only downfall I think of the pie cake was the fact that the frosting was really, I mean, they spackled this thing big time. I mean, they really laid it on hard, and it was the frosting was a little dry, and I don't know, let me see if I can, so you can see even here, there's some cracks in it. I mean, I had to kind of push it back together a little bit, the frosting, because down the bottom, like some of it kind of came off. But so my review of the pie cake basically was that if it was at $50, probably a good deal. $100, yeah, maybe I got taken just a little bit, but it's out of my system. I won't do it again. But they were sold out. They have a bigger version of this that was completely sold out right before Thanksgiving, because I went on their website to look. So this has absolutely nothing to do with real estate in any way, but this was my life at Thanksgiving. It was fun anyways. So
You know,
let's
the
get rid
extra
of-
$50 was just worth the novelty of it, I think, right?
It was.
$50 for the pie, $50 for the novelty of it.
The family liked it. You know, my wife was going to go out and get a pumpkin pie, and I had to confess to her a couple days before. She didn't know I ordered it. And I'm like, yeah, about you getting a pumpkin pie. Let's not do that because guess what I did? Yeah, she's used to me being an idiot. So it was just one of those things that it's out of my system now. It's gone. It's done. It lives only in memories and in video like this. So yes,
Well done.
I'll bow down. I'll bow to the pie cake. So fun stuff nonetheless. I enjoyed it. There's that. So that's done. It's no more pie caking, but that was my review. I wanted to take some video of it, and I started to, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm overkilling this a little bit, but anyways, it was fun. I know Emma was. I know my son posted something. He took a picture of a slice that he had and put it on a plate on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, well, there's us just being, yeah, us, I guess. Anyways, I digress. But back to the real world and what we're doing here, and it's been an interesting week. And I think it's going to be interesting through the rest of the year with real estate. Honestly, I mean, I'm talking to agents right now. Some that should be busy and aren't. Their pipelines have kind of dried. So I'm talking, we're starting back into farming and some other stuff like that, which is good. And we need the listings, of course, and they're going to sell crazily. And I've talked to a few agents who had clients have taken their properties off the market right now, which again, I mean, man, they're still selling. I mean, stuff is still moving. So it's interesting to look at some of these reports. I know I pulled Peoria here, so we get to kind of take a look at the market update there and see a median list price in Peoria, which is significantly higher than Glendale. Interestingly so, they usually are kind of close to each other. Not anymore. Peoria is really zoomed out ahead. But you can see even rents out there in Peoria very high. A little bit lower than the Southeast Valley, but still $1,900. That's a big rent. Their buyer seller index are still pointing more to the sell side there. Hang on. Yeah, I don't know, Kirk, on that one. I'm kind of, I'm getting reports both ways. We haven't slowed down here, the title company. We've been busy. I mean, a lot of purchase stuff coming through still. But yeah, these reports, so, you've got your index here. You can kind of take a look at this and, take a look at inventory and see what that's doing, as if you didn't know. These reports are awesome to get. I mean, you can share them. It's super easy to share on the Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can email them out to your clients. They can subscribe. You can search off them, other zip codes, cities, whatever you want to do here. It's going to show you, what came on the market last week, what sold, because it's all the week prior. And as Kirk pointed out last week or 2 weeks ago, the median list price is different than the average. They should be close-ish, but they're not always exact.
That's a scientific term, close-ish.
Yeah, that is a scientific word. But I think Ted brought up earlier this week, we were on a thing and he was asking where to get an average. And I think Cromford probably carries that stuff where you can probably find an average list price. Median it's going to give you an idea. It's just not going to be the same as your average. What I have taken here though, and let me see if I can pull this out can you see the Valley stats here? Did it come up okay?
It flashed and then it went away.
Did it?
Yeah.
God, let me see. I love technology. Let me do this and let me bring this back. Now you can see it.
Hey, there we go.
Okay. So what I've done is some of you on the show right now can kind of get this already, but what I've done with these things, these Altus reports, is I've been able to put them into one sheet. So you can kind of look at everything in one shot. Like, most of the cities here in the Valley, I don't have them all. And I'm always looking for, if somebody wants to see another city in here, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to add it. But I kind of covered a lot of the bigger chunks and trying to find out, where most people are doing business. It doesn't have everything on there, but it's close-ish. Again, my new favorite word. It's the word of the day. And I put outside the Valley here too, like second home destinations too. What I noticed this week really was a lot of downward pressure on inventory, which is no surprise. We all know what's going on, but some of them were pretty big. I mean, Phoenix, Scottsdale lost inventory. I mean, it is being cannibalized pretty quickly. I mean, new listings are going as quick as they're hitting the market. What really stood out to me this week is median list price in Queen Creek at $575.
Yeah, I was looking at that too, Shane.
Yep.
And then compare that to Chandler. That's a great example.
I've never seen Chandler over 500,000. I've never seen it top it, and it's really close. I mean, Gilbert's been over for a while now, but Queen Creek, holy cow, really?
Yeah, that's a great example, I think, of just simply because there's nothing on the lower end anymore, unless it's a single wide, on an acre, sitting out in the middle of a field, right?
Right. And I've got it. I've noticed it's trending up. I mean, it's still climbing by a little bit, and that's at least 3 weeks of climbing where I'm noticing trends and I'm marking that stuff. The other thing that really stood out for me is Payson. Yeah, and they've been going crazy, and I don't know what's going on up there. They're selling some high-end stuff. They're doing something nutty up there. I don't know. They've come out of like nowhere. Also on the other side, Apache Junction has fallen big time the past couple of weeks. I mean, over 100,000 both weeks. So that's notable to me when I see numbers like that. I mean, I think it might, yes, I think it was inflated quite a bit. So, and I watched it climb and then I'm watching it fall just as quickly. So it's kind of crazy to watch some of these numbers. And I mean, they are 7-day averages. So you're going to see
That's your
there's
problem.
dramatic upticks and downturns. I mean, big ones, which, you know,
Yeah.
you see that in Paradise Valley. That's the one that leaps by huge gains and then huge losses. But still, you know, 3.4 million is a median list price in Paradise Valley. I mean, still super high. I mean, Scottsdale up here too. Fountain Hills was up over 1 million. That's fallen back down. And especially last week, I mean, 86,000 is, you know, but again, they are, I mean, they're volatile numbers. So they, you know, that 7-day average is kind of, it could spike big time either way. But yeah, a lot of red here. And I saw, you know, just like I've seen a little more green here as far as stuff staying in the market just a little bit longer. The average days on market climbing just a little bit, and unless you're Apache Junction where it's, you know, falling quite a bit. But you know, we're seeing, yeah, kind of typical, I guess, holiday stuff. You know, where stuff's sitting on the market a little bit longer, and you know, but yeah, it's going to be interesting as we get into 2021 because, you know, as much as everyone wants to flip that calendar, that page to the new year, it's going to be more of the same, honestly, in January as what we're seeing here. I you know, so I think we're going to be in this market for quite some time where I can't see inventory numbers climbing. I don't know where the inventory would be coming from.
Yeah, not at this point.
No, and you know, so many people moving into Arizona, you know, by the truckload. You know, because,
Well, and California just went like a major lockdown again. So I'm sure people are dying to get out of there more than they're already dying to get out of there.
Apparently the 49ers were dying to get out because they're here in Glendale.
Yeah, that was a crazy turn of events on them. They didn't even know it was going down.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year coming up, and I know everybody says that I can't wait to flip that calendar, but it's like, yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot of the same, at least for the first quarter of next year. I can't see anything changing much until at least then.
No, well, I know my company's not relaxing their COVID standards well into the new year unless something dramatic changes. And I think that's probably par for the course for most corporations, just to err on the side of caution for liability reasons. So I think we're in this for a while, vaccine, no vaccine, all of that stuff. And then there's low inventory and we've got low rates, and you know, we saw where loan limits are going for the new year. So I'd say strap in, buckle up. It's a good time to be in our professions. The only problem is there's not enough inventory. I wish there was more inventory because we'd be out there killing it even more.
Well, I keep hearing about all the foreclosures that are, oh, there's going to be a lot of foreclosures, but are there going to be a lot of foreclosures? Are there? I mean, yeah, people are out of work. I get that, but I mean, why wouldn't you just call a real estate agent and sell your home instead of foreclosing? Me, I can't do the math on that one, you know?
Yeah, that's always been my thinking is
it'll tick up a little, you know, because people will want to believe that it won't happen to them and they'll end up with short sales and foreclosures. But most people will be smart enough to sell their house first.
You'd think so, right?
Well, especially if they were in forbearance and they have that big balloon forbearance payment that they got to catch up on. That'll shock a lot of people into probably cashing out if they don't have any money in savings.
I just don't know if there was as many people in forbearance as there's not as many as I thought there were. That's for dang sure. I mean, I don't think it's as prevalent as maybe we think it is.
Well, I think there was a lot of people who applied for it and then didn't use it. They kind of put it in their pocket just in case, and then they kept making their mortgage payment, which, bless their hearts, that was a shrewd move. Other than the fact that once they were in forbearance, they couldn't refinance and take advantage of these rates. They had to formally get out of forbearance and get a letter saying they're no longer in forbearance. But that slowed down the refis a little bit. But hey, real quick, I would love to take a show of hands, wave, whatever. as far as the comment I put in chat, which is, what are you guys seeing? I love to hear the feedback from you guys. Are you guys, normally on my end, we see things slow down during the holidays, and my volumes tends to get real slow, and it's welcomed because we're heading into the holidays anyway. But there's those off years where it's like crazy and it doesn't stop at all. What are you guys seeing? Are you guys seeing a little bit of slowdown? I mean, inventory is already low. It's hard to find listings, but what are you guys seeing?
Not yet, but it is hot. I expect just about the time Christmas hits and till about a week or two after King Day, it'll be its normal, post Thanksgiving slowing. Changed from post August slowing back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else? Everybody's turning and burning right now, huh? Good, good.
Well, we've seen, like I said, Kirk, I mean, November was a good, great closing month, and we saw the high order count as far as, escrows, and of course, we're still seeing a lot of refinances,
Oh yeah.
as I think that's going to start slowing down. I mean, people that you're running out of people that haven't refied. I guess it's diminishing returns, right? Eventually, it's just gonna stop. I mean,
I've got a couple of people I'm refining a second time.
yeah. I'm curious. I mean, it looks like December is going to be a good closing month. I don't know where orders are. We're still early in the month as far as that goes. We'll see how that. Usually December is a sleepy month. It just is what it is, and so is January. Last January was an exception because we came out of the gates like gangbusters. But this year's going to be next year. January's going to be different. I think.
I think that the lack of inventory actually makes us feel like we're busier than we are. I mean, out in the realtor world, because there's so little to do with. We're churning, spinning our wheels really, really fast at high revs, but we're not getting as much done because there's less to do with.
Yeah.
What the other realtors feel, maybe they're doing 12 a month, and I'm perking up because I was in a real slowdown for health reasons, but it feels like I'm doing twice as much work for a quarter of the response.
Well, especially if you're working with buyers right now, I think, trying to just find them. I mean, writing offers right and left, and it's trying to find a property for them to buy, I would imagine.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Well, let's give Emma the floor. She's been patient here. We've actually run over. Sorry, Emma. But no rush. Don't feel rushed at all. You got a tip for us, and I love hearing them. So
Awesome. Yeah, if you guys can hang on, feel free. If you have to go, I understand. I won't be offended. But for those of you who do not know me, which I think is dwindling numbers at this point, my name is Emma. I'm one of the co-founders of Remodel Social. If you have not heard of us yet, we provide high quality and local Facebook posts for Arizona real estate agents that'll keep your page looking active and relevant. If you do not have a Facebook business page or you're insecure about what yours looks like, we also offer a page remodel service where we can help you make a new cover photo and improve your page for searchability. I also wanted to talk about a thing that our clients know very well, which is that with the Remodel Social subscription, you also get access to me. So I'm sure a lot of you have experienced that Facebook is really not the same day to day. So it is helpful to have someone you can talk to about that. I have agents that call, text, email me all the time, asking me questions because everything looks different all the time. So that is helpful too. And that is another benefit of having a subscription with us. And to that end, I wanted to show you guys something that has changed.
Hey, real quick, Emma.
Yeah.
Real quick. Your lowest subscription, what is that, monthly or quarterly? However you break that down?
Yeah, so you guys would get a discount with Shane. So with Shane's discount, the lowest price is $26 a month. Unbeatable price.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that entail?
Yeah, so $26 a month is our 2 posts per week price. So that's 2 posts per week that go out on Tuesdays and Fridays on your page. And we have you fill out a personalization questionnaire. So you tell us the communities that you're working in, the interests that you want to have reflected, and then also your preferred method of contact. And so all of that informs your posts, and then they're all personalized on your page.
Cool.
And you could also kind of customize those too a little bit, right? They got a calendar and they can kind of, if they've got a listing they want to promote or something like that, they could slip that in there as a
Yep.
post.
Yeah, so we send out a content calendar every month that has all the posts for that month. And then everyone can edit, change, update any of those posts as they want to. So it is super easy if you do want to, even if there's a post in there you like, but you just want to mention, also check out our new listing. Super easy to just double click in there and change that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's completely customizable as well.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just show you really quick what popped up on my Facebook, and I'm not sure this is on everyone's yet, so I'm interested to see if you guys have this yet. But so on your business page, if you go into your business page, you should see this. This is the admin view. And so in your admin view, you should now have along the side a news feed tab in your page. You can see I have 8 new things. Now it's going to walk me through it, even though I've clicked on this before. So as you can see, it's trying to tell me. So you can go through and follow other pages as your page. And I always have real estate agents asking me, how they can improve their engagement and their reach on their page. This is an incredible way, because if you go around following different business pages that you want to interact with, such as your title agencies, and your mortgage people, anything like that, you can go through and then you can react and comment as your page. So this is going to show up as an interaction from my page, not from me. You can see in the corner who it's going to show up from. And so if this has your page icon, that's who it's going to show up from. So this is a really handy tool. If you guys have it, I have a feeling they are just now rolling it out, because as you can see, it's a little bit buggy. I got a tutorial even though I've been in it before. So I'm not sure if every single person will have this yet, but they are rolling it out. So look for it if you don't have it. And yeah, so that is a super easy way to get your engagement up, because if you're going around interacting as your page, people are going to come back to you and be like, oh, wait, what is this that's reacting to my post, right? So it is a really good ecosystem to be pushing yourself out there and engaging with other pages. So yep, that is the tip for this week.
Very cool. So you just go right in there and just scroll through and make it super efficient. I like it.
Yeah, and you can see like it was trying to get me to like go follow more stuff. So when you first get into it, I would recommend going through that tutorial and then just going through and following some other relevant pages, just so you have a real news feed, right? Because you don't want to get on there and you're only following 2 or 3 pages. So make sure you're following some, and then yeah, use that news feed to interact with, and hopefully that will help boost your reach and engagement.
I like it. Learn something new every day. I've actually seen that last couple times I've been out on Facebook and wondered what it was. And
Oh, good. I'm glad it's
I'm
available.
clicking things in Facebook. What rat hole is this going to take me down? So I don't.
Yep.
Wonderful. Well, hey, if anybody's got any questions to wrap up, we've gone a little bit over, not too bad considering it's been 2 weeks since our last meeting. No, Becky, you've been quiet today.
No, I've just been trying to get caught up from being out of town, and just trying to answer the questions to clients that I keep hearing from all you guys. Like, we actually had a client that was talking about selling and renting for a year, because then it could take advantage of the market tanking and get a cheap house. It just doesn't. There's nothing in the no writing on the wall that indicates that. So.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's I'll sell.
And,
I'll rent.
and then he started looking at what rents are in Chandler in his area, and he's like, it would eat all of their all of their money they would make out of the house. So that's kind of a dumb plan. But it was interesting to see Shane talking about his cake pie business thing there. I think I'll just avoid that.
Amen. Yeah, amen.
Also, Shane, I really appreciate the planners that we picked up.
Oh yeah, good.
This thing, but I have to tell you, the log sheet in the back was a little intimidating. I'm not sure we'll be using that feature of it. But it's a really nice planner. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. If anybody needs a day planner or a desk calendar, let me know. We've got a bunch of them here, and I'm more than happy to share. I can't use them all myself.
That reminds me, I need to swing by your office and pick up a few myself. So thank you for setting those aside, my friend. All right, everybody. Well, hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving once again. And I think we're here next week, right? We're here for a couple more weeks till Christmas hits.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All righty. Well, hey, have a great weekend and have a great next week. If you have any clients that need to get pre-qualified, you got any lending questions whatsoever, give me a buzz. I've been doing this a little while and I would love to help you guys out. And Shane, my friend.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, obviously not pre-quals. I don't do that. But if you've got contracts to write, we like it when it says Greystone. We'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.